Former Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee told us yesterday that if the RNC changes the rules, it is bad for the party.
If you're a voter and you go out there, you stand in a long line and you vote for Donald Trump, and then somebody at the party says, well, we know what the votes were, but we figured out how the rules are going to make it so that we're going to give those delegates to somebody else. Then what you're doing is destroying the credibility of the process, and that's why the Republicans need to be very careful.
My next guest says Donald Trump could secure the Republican nomination even if he does not get to the official number of 1,237 delegates that he needs for a clear position. RNC Rules Committee member Randy Evans is with me now. Randy, thank you for the time. You say that Trump only needs 1,100 votes to get the nomination. However, RNC spokesperson Michael Short tweeted this out. You need 1,237, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Is the Rules Committee, the members, are you in agreement with one another?
Yes, we are. What I said this morning was that the rule is you have to get 1,237, 1,237, no question about it. I did say, however, that if Donald Trump got to 1,100, here we would call it spitting distance of 1,237, I thought he would cobble together the other 137 delegates he needs. There'll be about 150 to 200 unbound delegates available. I would be shocked if someone could get to 1,100 and then not get the nomination. I then said, on the other hand, if nobody gets to 1,000 delegates, neither Trump nor Cruz, I think we would see a free-for-all. We'll see a complete free-for-all on the convention floor.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified.
The real brokering will come.
Oh, the real brokering will come in Cleveland, I assume?
Well, the real brokering will come if Trump gets past 1,000 but not to 1,100, because then I don't think there's enough unbound delegates laying around for him to get to the 1,237, and then I think you'll see some deals get cut. You could see a Trump-Kasich deal. You could see a Cruz-Rubio deal. You could see any number of opportunities where they could put together a ticket to put together enough delegates to get to 1,237. And that's where the interesting part is. Normally, we have a vice presidential vetting about 2 weeks before the convention starts. But here, we may not even know who our nominee is. But that vetting will probably be going on behind closed doors to figure out which other candidate can deliver some unbound delegates to get one candidate or the other over the line of 1,237.
Well, Randy, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're willing to go through the system, because there are a lot of people who feel like it's smoke and mirrors. There are things being brokered. I mean, you heard that outrage from Colorado. You saw, I am sure, that you had some members who were registered in the Republican Party actually burning their cards, saying that they feel like they're not represented. We know in the past, Dr. Ron Paul denied being on the ticket. The rules were changed. There is this gentleman here from Colorado, we're just showing this, Randy, who's actually burning his registration paper, saying that he's just disgusted by the party. So what do you say to those ideas that I have to say many people share?
Well, I say the rules are archaic, and we tried to go a long way this past year to correcting some of those. We undid a lot of the rules that were designed or aimed at Congressman Paul, but the rules are archaic, and what it really does tell you is that some candidates are much better prepared at dealing with the archaic nuances of the rules than other candidates, and those candidates tend to do better. I would have hoped
but Randy, in some ways that makes it feel like the candidates have to do a whole separate job, which maybe is fine, but have to jump through fiery hoops and read the fine print. And that's not really about the issues, right? That's about just pleasing the system, which is okay if that's how it is, but to a lot of people it doesn't seem fair.
Trust me, I was a senior advisor to the Gingrich campaign, and when we weren't on the Virginia ballot, it hurt, and it hurt bad. But I did learn a valuable lesson, and that is part of this process, part of the reason it's not for neophytes, is that you really do have to know how the system works. And you have to have the talent to bring to bear in order to make sure that those rules get complied with, because the penalties are very severe.
So, Randy, are you saying it's somewhat of an acid test, in a way, of a candidate's organizational abilities, and therefore that is important to show whether he or she would have leadership capabilities?
Well, no, I think that's a fair way of putting it, which is that each part of this process is designed to do something different. Why do we go to Iowa? Well, the reason we go to Iowa is so that candidates actually meet voters face to face. Why do we have primaries? So that voters can vote by state? Why do we have regional primaries? So that we can see how candidates do on a regional basis. Why do we have many national primaries? So that we can see how they do on a national level. Why do we have these archaic rules about conventions and caucuses? Well, that's to make sure that they understand all of the nuances of the rules to get to the final vote. But at the end of the day, 1,237 people have to vote for you when that first ballot comes through, or eventually on a subsequent ballot if you don't win it on the first ballot.
Randy, thanks for coming. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time. Randy Evans with me there.